Managing resources. We are talking a lot about resources, but let's talk about resources. So there are three types of resources in MS project. One is work, second is material, and third is cost resources. Right? Only three. Earlier there were two. The cost resources are added in 2010 version. So what work resources do? Work resources perform the work. They can be of two types. One is people and second is equipment. People and equipment. So people can be of two types. Individual, where you can identify the person with name, or the job title, that is role. That is a project manager or developer, tester, like that, or programmer or test these are the roles basically. And equipments may be some like of server. You want to take a backup, and backup is done by server. So the only advantage of equipment is that people need rest after 8 hours. Equipment can continue working for several hours. Okay, so if people are working, if work resources work, the work get done. Now when the work get done, the material get consumed. So material is something which get consumed when the work is done. So if you are constructing a wall, the bricks, the RCC, cement, etc., that's a part of RCC anyway. So those are consumable basically. In software industry or something, there's something like consumable as such. You can only consume the mind of the person basically, and people are doing so anyway. So the last is the cost resources, and the cost resources are resources which, in a plain definition, resources which cannot be categorized in work or in material. Basically, cost resources are the resources, they are incidental expenses basically. Incidental expenses which cannot be categorized either as work or as material. Like you are traveling, going for entertainment, conducting a training, or there could be several other things. In this, you do spend money, but it is neither work nor material, and also you cannot predict the cost. There is no formula to calculate the cost. In the work, the people or equipments are hour based. They have a rate per hour basis. And the material also comes with a rate depending upon the unit. If it is cement per kg, if it is a iron bars, maybe per meters or something like that. But cost resources do not have any unit or do not predict. So like you are traveling, suppose say you are traveling. Now every time you travel, there is no formula to estimate how much next travel will take. It all depends upon your situation. If you are traveling in a holiday season, you're going to spend much more than normal season, right? If your destination is changing, your price will change. So there is no set formula. So what do we do in the cost resources? We do not define any rate because we cannot. What we do, we give only budgeted amount, a budgeted cost, that this resource will cost this much on particular activity. We will understand that. But what need to be understood is their incidental cost being incurred as part of the project because the project demands for that work. What are the characteristics of? So work resources have a characteristic of individual and role. Individual can be maximum 100%, a person cannot be more than 100%, but role can be. So how we can define three project managers or 3 developers or 5 laborers or 10 laborers by increasing their percentage. So 300% of developers means 3 developers. Now we can define developer 1, developer 2, developer 3 as well. And I will tell you that when we need to define 1, 2, 3 or 1 to 500%. Equipments are similar to role, only exception is that they can work 24 hours a day. Material resources are, there is no inventory system in a Microsoft project. Microsoft project assumes that you have enough inventory of all the material. What it tells is about the cost of the material being consumed on a specific activity. The cost of the material being consumed on an activity. That's what it tells. That's all. Nothing else. So you can define either fixed or variable. You can estimate for a particular activity that on this activity I need 50 metric ton of cement or something like that. It's not metric of RCC. Let's say 50 metric ton of RCC. Variable is something like that. I cannot estimate. I will just say rate. That if I'm erecting a wall, then the wall in one day, I have 5 people working on this can consume 200 bricks in a day. So if the task goes for 10 days, it becomes 500 bricks, or like whatever, 200 bricks in a day. So means if it goes for 10 days, it becomes 10,000. So it gets calculated based on what rate you provide. It could be per hour, could per day, per week, anything. And the cost resources, we need to specify the budget when we assign cost resources to any activity. Okay, so file and define some resources. So let's go through these tasks and see who we need. For business requirement, system requirement, I think we need a business analyst and technical analyst. Is that right? We need an architect. We need a designer. We need programmers, at least 2 programmers. We need a tester. Maybe deployment can be done by programmers. That's all. Anything else you think? Maybe a tech leads kind of person, technical lead. Right? Let me know if anything I am missing. So we'll go to the resource sheet. Okay, we go to the resource sheet and start defining the roles here. So first role which I need is business analyst. The second will be the technical analyst. The third is designer or architect. Tech lead, or say programmer. Tester, say design, setup, coding, code I think good enough. Let's define some cost resources also. We don't need any material, but at least define some cost resources. Let's say travel. Travel is another cost resource. Okay. So how we define this is a cost resource? We come over here and select the cost instead of what? The type. Type is cost. Right? Suppose you want some hardware for environment setup, some servers. So let me put, the servers are not normally material actually. Servers are assets basically. So they can be defined with two ways. Either they are could be fixed cost, or they could be termed as cost resources also. But that is not material. Okay, so let's define the cost. We'll see that if we can add some material. Okay, the next thing we need to define their availability. I think one business analyst is good enough. One technical analyst is good enough. One designer is good enough. Say architect. Let's say architect is only available half. He's working on 2 projects at a time. And so he's already working on 1 project right now. And he assigned to you also. So maximum availability of this person is only 50. So I'll make it 50%. This person is not available more than 4 hours a day. His availability is 50%. We need one tech lead. We need at least 2 to 3 programmers. So there are 2 possibilities. Either I can write 300 programmers, 300%. Or I can write programmer 1, programmer 2, programmer 3. Now, when to do what? That's the question. So solve it like this. If it does not bother you that who is who, then make it 300%. But if every programmer skill is different and you need to identify them by name, then you cannot say 300%. You have to give them programmer 1, programmer 2, programmer 3. Because tomorrow when the actual people will come and you replace them, you will not be able to distinguish if you give 300%. You will not be able to distinguish where I should, who will go where. The planning will go us. And in software development, where we have only finite number of people, we need to identify everybody with a name. Now when this 300, 400% will come in terms of labor, like in construction, we need 10 labor. So whomsoever will come doesn't matter to us. We need not to identify them. There is no specific skill. We're not going to count their name. We just need 10 laborer. That's all. In that case, you can give percentage. But here, if I want to make 3 programmers, then I must give programmer 1, programmer 2, programmer 3. Because I need to identify them with name tomorrow, and all are 100% available. Test lead is one test lead is available or one tester available. Okay, you see, as soon as I change the type to work, these things are become blank because they are not required. The next step for us is to specify their rates. So what are the rates? I think we should define some project manager also. The most important person is left. Suppose he is also 50% available. He is not more than 100%. also, this project is small. She is working on 2 projects. So what are the rates? Rate must be defined. Now why the rates to be defined? If we want that our MS project file calculate the cost, the minimum and maximum you need to do is to define the rates. If you define the rates for each resource, then the rest of the job on the cost will be done by MS project. You just have to define only the rates. Everything else will be calculated on the cost side by MS project. So if you have not defined the rates, cost will not be calculated. If you have defined the rates, everything will be done on cost side. You just define the rates. So let's define some rates. What are the rates? Put some on-site offshore rates, some US rates, some Indian rates. Let's say business analysis on, suppose this requirement normally happen in US and but the development happen in India, right? That's how it is. So let's define that way. Business analyst, how much? It will be like $60, $70 per day, per hour?
$80 per hour.
$80 per hour, let's say. Technical analyst, same?
Same.
Designer, let's say designer is offshore. So he
60.
will be
50 or 60.
Offshore he will be like 25, right? Offshore will be 25, right? In the India it will not be more than 25. Architect, let's say he is on site. So he will be taking about $100, right?
Yes.
Tech lead, let's say it's offshore, will be around same as 25. Programmer will be around 22 or something, right?
Correct.
Tech lead is normally say 25 and tester as 20. We will not define travel. Project manager may be 30, right? If it is offshore, on-site it will be 100, right? At this stage we need not to define anything else. Just understand another thing is that accrued at. Accrued at. So accrued at has 3 options: start, prorate, prorated, earn, end. That means how the cost will be spent. Like if it is prorated means if 50% of the job is done, 50% of the resource cost will be accounted. If it is at start, it means complete cost on an activity will be accounted in the beginning of the task itself. If it is end, then it will be last. For example, you have hired a consultant. Now consultant, you have to pay to the consultant maybe in the beginning itself as an advance or maybe at the end. So you can define that, okay, consultant is cost will be accrued at end. That means your cash flow is once the job of the consultant will be over. So it will help in getting the better cash flow if you properly define it. Normally for the work resources it is prorated. Sometime we like hire some buy some servers or some machines or some licenses, suppose. Now licenses cannot be prorated. They have to be at the beginning because you have to buy them before the activity really starts. Then if you are buying some licenses, then its cost will go because when the task is starting, before that you need to procure all the licenses or hardwares, right? And that way we have defined our resources. The next step is to assign these resources to the task. I hope this is clear this side. Nothing complex as such in this. As such, MS project is a very simple thing. It's not complex at all. So we come over here, we go to the resource tab, select this assign resources. Now another option available is resource name here. Many people define resources from here. That's not a good idea. You don't do this. I will tell you the reason. You always assign resources with this box. All the resources are listed here. You can assign them to anyone, and this box stays there even if you change through the task. You run through the task, this box will not go anywhere. So let's define business requirement, business analyst, right? Sign. You see it gone to 10 days. System requirement, technical analyst, let us assign. This is 1 week. Requirement document, who I say, let's say both business analyst and technical analyst, both. But they are only 50%. 50% business analyst, 50% technical analyst. So I can make them 50% here and 50%. Right? Now you see, this you cannot do here if you assign from here. There it will by default hold 100% or whatever the maximum availability is. So I will go little backside. You see that when I assign 2 people, the duration was 2.5 days. But when I assign, make them 50%, the duration will become 5 days. Right? Now I am changing the resources. It can change work also, but it is not changing the work because we have marked all these tasks as effort driven. If they are not effort driven, changing here would have changed the work, not the duration. Okay, let's go to the architecture. Architecture will be done by architect. Is available only 50%, therefore it is going for 20 days. So because we say it is not just architect, the designer will also help him. So let's assign designer as well. Designer will also help him, assign designer, and high level design will be done by only designer. Then because it is 1.5 people, the 80 hours, the duration is come out to be 6.67 days. Here it is 10 days because it's 1 person. Then we go to the coding and unit testing. We assign it to programmer 1. Code review, let's say programmer 2. Rework, programmer 1. Let's say coding, say programmer 2. Unit testing, again programmer 2. Code review, let's say programmer 3. Or we can do one thing, we can assign a 50% of programmer 3 also. Leave it. Code review, then rework, again programmer 2. Now test cases, who will do the test cases? The test lead? Who will do the test cases? Test lead? This is right. Should I assign a resource also? Say programmer 3. Let's say program So mainly to test lead, programmer 3 is just helping him. Environmental setup, I say let's say programmer 3 and let's say tester. Then test case execution. Script creation, create the script, programmer. Deployment plan, I think project manager is not doing anything. Let us assign it to project manager. Normally it doesn't do anything, but let's do something. Who will do the deployment? Let's say programmer 1 and 2. And both are how much? 50%? How much? 50%? You calculated 1 day or 2 days? Right? So it becomes 2 days. UAT support, let's say programmer 3. Done? The duration will come little weird.
Vivek,
Yes.
Vivek, can you show the assignment of test case design? I think there is some problem there.
Yes.
Test case design.
Yeah.
Whom do we assign there?
I've assigned it to test lead with programmer 3.
I guess 15 days calculation is wrong in that case. More than one person, 60 hours, it should be around 7 or 8 days only.
But test lead is only 50% available. You see, test lead.
Okay,
Where is the
then it
test
is
lead?
fine.
Test lead is, I think somebody was 50. No. Test lead is fully available.
It would not be effort driven then. Calculation wise, it does not seem it should take.
Go to this task users view and see how it is. This is efforts for programmer 3. This is for test lead. Basically, what happened? Test lead work is over, but programmer 3's work is continuing 2 hours a day, and that is which is stretching the whole timeline to the 15 days. It is over, getting over here.
So basically, it has divided 60 hours into two people, 30 hours each, and so programmer 3 is getting 2 hours per day. So can we have something like test lead should get more of
You can
contribution on this task?
You can define it here in this task users view. You can say, okay, this is only 10 hours and this is 50 hours. Something like that's what you want to do, right? So it reduced to 6 days.
Yeah. So okay. Now as a manager, somehow I got a view on this field. Otherwise, it would have overlooked, and it would have been a wrong assignment in that case.
No, it will not happen that way. here, this is coming up as red, which is showing the resource is over allocated. This is a sign that everything is not good. You need to go and check what is happening. And when you check, you will change this, that is wrong. But I'm really wondering why it has assigned 30 hours and 30 hours. It should be defined, assigned into the same proportion. Anyway, if you can make it 50 and 10, then it will work.
Yeah, basically that was my question. More than one resource, it should first assign the complete available resource in that weightage, and then it should see that I have more resource available. So in a way we are trying to
Yeah, you need to watch. That's what I'm saying. This is a plan for you to know what is happening. It, by defining here, the things will not happen. Things have to be done this way. So that's why we need to clearly check, do a kind of check and balances in our project plan, that things are looking okay. It just not put, because it's a thoughtful process. It takes time to plan. That's why it requires multiple, and everywhere we need to check that how people are assigned. Like after this, I must go here in the resource users view and see that how people are allocated. This is 8 hours, and I should see that okay, he is only 4 hours here. Maybe he has another time of another 4 hours here. He's free here, he's free here. Should I release him? The action has to be taken. This person is starting 4 hours here. He has only 4 hours basically. Architect is 8 hours here. High level design is starting from here. Right? So you need to check that how people are allocated, how much they consumed. If it's just not planning, it's a looking also that how after this planning what is happening, how my overall allocation, how my people are allocated. So it's just not plain planning. I think it's just a scheduler actually. After scheduling, we need to check this out, that how it is impacting the overall progress. Are the people available as per requirement? If they are not available, or are they free at some point of time, you may think of assigning them to some other project or utilizing them somewhere else if they are not being utilized. That is what it comes to be like for resource utilization. The idea here is that you come to know that who is allocated how much at what point of time. That if this project plan is not there, you will never come to know. It will be very hard to know. And you put up the project plan, you know that how much work is there with whom. When the person is overloaded, when the person is underloaded. That's what that will come from here. That's why I'm saying it's a kind of mirror. It will show you things which you cannot see without it. And it's all about me. So basically it is going to take 20 hours, and it will finish in 75 days. Working days, the 75-hour working days, not the continuous time span. We will start on 20th May, will finish on 3rd of September. Would you like to assign these resources? let's go ahead and then we can plan this out. We still have 10 minutes to go. I think should be good enough for you.
So these two are coming red. Is it because of over allocation?
Yes.
So maybe on parallel activities they are assigned 100%.
Right. I think
Something
there's
like
somewhere they are overlapping. They, like I intentionally like defined like that programmer one's code review is being done by programmer two, and then programmer two is working on some other code. That's the normal situation, right? And there's a possibility that there is some overlapping in them. That will we figure it out when we say optimizing the resources, looking at that what is happening and how to label the resources. So we'll remove these over allocation later by labeling the resources. See you tomorrow at 3 p.m. India time and 5:30 p.m. US time, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks a lot. Thanks everybody.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Good night. Bye. Bye.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye.